Welcome back, Truth Seeker. To start this video, I just want to have the thumbnail up there. And from left to right, you have the picture of the assassinated Ecuadorian politician who was running on the platform of stopping and ending state corruption. You have next to him RFK Jr., who's running for president of the United States. Next to him, you have RFK, who was assassinated in 1968 while running for president of the United States. Next to him, you have JFK, who was assassinated in 63. People say that his legacy is threatening the banking system, and that's what brought his tragic premature demise. JFK was assassinated at age 46. Next to him, you have the only other Catholic president besides JFK, Joe Biden, who is number 46, again, who lost his son, Beau Biden, at 46, or Joe Jr., and again, was elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And in the case of Ecuador, it was established 46 years after America. And then you also have Donald Trump, who, like George W. Bush and Bill Clinton, was born in 46. And then below that, you have the sentence, Q, do you get it yet? And I'll get to why I put that in this video, because I'm going to make a big point. Ecuador was established on May 24th, the 144th day of the year. The assassination came on the day leaving 144 days left in the year. If you're new to my channel, watch the video that I was doing, or the topic I was on all day yesterday before the news of the Ecuadorian assassination came. It was about the history of political assassinations in this country and beyond in relation to 144. Again, Bobby Kennedy reported dead at 1:44 in the morning. JFK dead 144 days from meeting with the Pope. Joe Biden, his big 144 ritual was Georgetown, the Jesuit university, simulated the election 144 days before it happened, saying he would win and Trump wouldn't step down and it would lead to deadly violence in America. And then you have Trump, who's Jesuit educated, who was with the Pope at the Vatican on the 144th day of the year, May 24th, 2017. And yesterday, the day of this Ecuadorian assassination, again, Ecuador established 46 years after America. What was one of the stories yesterday? That a man was arrested for threatening to kill Joe Biden in Utah, and his name was Robertson. Also dead in the news yesterday was Robbie Robertson, who's a bandmate of Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, the band. Bob Dylan in 2020 put out the 17-minute song about the assassination of JFK. 17's interesting because Joe Biden is born exactly 17 years after RFK, both born on November 20th. And again, RFK Jr. is in the election right now, and RFK Jr. filed his papers to run for president on April 5th, 144 days after Arturo Sosa's birthday, the leader of the Jesuit order. When Jesuit order equals 144 in Gematria, and so does President Biden, and so does the United States of America. Big number. But Biden born 17 years after RFK. The whole Q thing is a conspiracy theory that there's good guys in the federal government and it's, the Kennedys who've pretended to be dead. You guys, the Ecuadorian president who was assassinated yesterday, he was born in 1963, the year JFK was assassinated, and his assassination yesterday was 63 days before his upcoming birthday on October 11th. Born in 63, dead 63 days before his birthday. And what was I talking about all day yesterday? Assassinations, the Kennedys, going all the way back to Lincoln. Lincoln shot on 14/4 like 144. So again, this is why a decade into this, I am just so mad that more people in the world haven't found this work and shared it and replicated and helped get out the word, because I've been talking about the same stuff the whole time. We've just been able to build on the examples, and we've had so many things like yesterday where we're talking about something very specific, very historical, then boom, becomes the headline for the day we're talking about that. This has happened so many times. And just how perfect it all is. How perfect it all is. So we'll go over all this information in the thumbnail. But yeah, I wanted to lay it out right there before we get into it more specifically. And by the way, in Gematria, RFK is 46. And then let's not forget that RFK, he filed his papers 144 days after the Superior General's birthday, and then his campaign officially began on April 19th, which is the day in history the Roman Catholic Church recognized the first Superior General of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, which is also the day the Oklahoma City building blew up and Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building equaled 144. And it was a super huge Jesuit ritual. And we were just down. See, I realize, you guys, because it's just been all downfall for financial support from this work. Ever since we went to Oklahoma City and then New York for 9/11 and the Buffalo thing in between, financial support has steadily gone down every single month since we did that. And again, been getting nothing but the same feedback that people are getting unsubscribed. It won't accept their card information anymore. They can't sign back up. It's just, you guys, we went and we are tampering with such a serious system that's in place. And I get why it's been obvious why they've been trying to silence this so hard, but it's like in a new phase of silencing in the last 2 years ever since we've done this. So anyhow, let's go over this in greater detail, piece by piece, so you can see everything I just said with your own eyes is true and factual. But yeah, if you're new here, if you're watching this video, you know what? Just stop this video and go back and watch the video I did yesterday morning about why Trump was having his issues with Twitter and the feds having a warrant for his files. Because again, Elon Musk tried to buy Twitter on 14/4, and then he unbanned Trump 144 days after his birthday, and right on down the list. And like we've been saying the whole time, all these people are Jesuit puppets on the Jesuit stage, meant to keep people fighting and divided and distracted. And that's the game every day. And I'm trying to get people to wake up to, if you're believing so much in RFK Jr., because he's speaking the most truth to you right now, if you're believing so much in the Q PSYOP, which we've been saying is completely Jesuit for all this time, and we'll get into Uvalde. I forgot to even say in the beginning, Uvalde, the mass shooting on the 144th day of the year, where then Joe Biden went down there and gave the speech about how there'll be 17 more days of mourning, and the 17, and this 17, and this 17. And again, he gave that speech the day of Game 1 of the NBA Finals with the Celtics in it, where John Havlicek, number 17, died 17 days after his birthday on the day Joe Biden announced he was running for president, which makes a lot of sense when you get the sick joke, because Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. And as we say, the NBA is the 17 league. But, yeah, again, just this whole line of 144s, you can see where the story's going. There's going to be some stage thing on this election that reminds us of past Kennedys, and it's going to fit right in with the whole gun grab and undermining, the Constitution and the right to bear arms. And they've been undermining the First and Second Amendment, or what make America America, and they've been totally undermined in a major way, especially in the 21st century, the century of the Jesuit takeover. And while we still have these rights, because we still do have them to an extent, if we don't use them, we're going to lose them all the way. Again, and I've been saying the same thing for a decade straight. Revolution or bust. This government that's controlled by this Jesuit order needs to be stopped. All of you guys who believe in all these little stories they give you, all the things that they make viral for you to feel like you're part of a group that's going to change the world, only for it to fall flat on the day it matters, like it always does. Again, wake up. I've been out at these Q rallies and these Trump rallies because I know these people are, at least they see that something's wrong, but they're believing in the biggest loads of bullshit put out by the same people who are creating the stress in their life that makes them want to be part of a movement like Q or RFK Jr. I get it. People should be stressed out and feeling wronged by this system. But if you go join a false group set up by the enemy, trust me, that group is going nowhere to do nothing. Just like, again, Ron Paul, Ralph Nader. I'm not saying these people are bad. I'm just saying that they create these movements to get the people who are halfway awake to have hope, and then it falls flat every time. So, okay, let's go over all the slides, and let's bring it all together, and everything I forgot to say on the intro. Okay, so right here, Ecuador established May 24th. That's the 144th day of the year. We were talking about this date yesterday before I even realized that Ecuador, the only reason I started looking at Ecuador is because, oh my goodness, it's where the assassination happened after timeout assassinations in 144. Again, May 24th is the 144th day of the year. August 9th leaves 144 days in the year. So the dates are like reflections of each other. Again, Bob Dylan's birthday. Bob Dylan just did the big 17-minute assassination song on John F. Kennedy that he put out in 2020 by the numbers, in the Clear Jesuit Ritual, which we covered back then and we'll go back over today. But then his bandmate dies on this day of this assassination, Robertson. And then again, the assassination scare for Joe Biden, number 46. The assassin, the would-be assassin who's arrested at his home in the pre-crime is Robertson. And again, number 46, Ecuador 46 years later, the New World Orders, the Jesuit World Order, and they definitely created the Americas in the New World, feeling holier than thou than everybody who they conquered, holding up their books with the New Testament. Again, you guys, all this stuff's part of the New World Order. Nonsensical beliefs, rewritten history, submit to authority, thinking. How dare you think, you conspiracy theorists? Just believe what we told you. If you don't believe what we told you and you think for yourself, you're a conspiracy theorist. Wait for Jesus. Jesus is coming. Jesus is your Savior. Put all your power outside of you. Believe, believe, believe. Okay. Back to the Ecuadorian president. Again, look at this. Born October 11th, 63. Dead August 9th, 63 days before his birthday. You remember the dead Kennedy's drummer who just died at age 63? I went back and looked at this the night of RFK. I'll tell you what I noticed that I didn't notice. Again, this post is from last year, October 28, 2022. Dead Kennedy's drummer, dead at 63. But look at this. His birthday is July 9th. That's a whole nother subject. But from his birthday to October 28th, 111 days later, 111. In Gematria, dead Kennedy's 111. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Kennedy 111. Dead 15 weeks and 6 days later, Robert Kennedy 156, who was shot on June 5th, 1968, the 156th day of the year. And, you know, drummer has that Gematria 38, like murder, like killing, like death, like RIP. Like JFK Jr. dead at age 38. Like DC, the killing capital on the 38th parallel. But yeah, that was at the end of last year. So what I noticed about that is from his death to RFK's upcoming birthday was 81 days. Remember, President Biden's 81. President Trump is 81. Biden supposedly beat Trump with 81 million votes. Interstate 81 runs through Scranton, Joe Biden's birthplace, where the University of Moscow killer was arrested. He went from Idaho to Joe Biden's hometown after the killing on 11/22 King Road, where the news broke on King Charles' birthday in 11/22. It's the date when Kennedy was assassinated, JFK in 63. So this man, again, killed on the day, leaving 144 days left in the year, reminding us how JFK was assassinated 144 days from meeting with the Pope, but then also the 63s. And then with the whole Biden thing. And the Biden's parallel to Kennedy. Killed at age 46. He is number 46. Lost Jr. at age 46. There's some other things that are interesting about where he was assassinated. You know, the Jesuit fingerprints are there. Things that point back and remind of, you know, RFK's assassination. The place he was is called Colegio Anderson, which equals 156. Again, Robert Kennedy, 156, shot on the 156th day. Yeah, and the event also has the typical Jesuit numbers on it, including 95. MLK, killed on the 95th day. The news about his death mostly was heard through RFK because he was on the campaign trail. And again, Martin Luther King Jr., named after Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses against the Catholic Church. So this guy's killed at a 95 named event. Go figure. And yeah, just the whole 46-year thing. So how about this headline? Like, we're hearing a lot about this right now with RFK Jr. Part of me just wonders if somehow him and Biden or him and Trump are going to come together. The ultimate conspiracy theory ticket. But look at this article right here written about RFK Jr. Remember, RFK had his big rally also on, again, the official announcement on Ignatius Loyola Day, and then the big anti-lockdown mandate rally on Georgetown's birthday. I mean, just how many more examples do you need before you realize he's one of them? Since Robert F. Kennedy Jr. launched his campaign challenging President Biden for the 2024 Democratic presidential nomination, he has given hours of interviews to podcasts, magazines, and TV networks. He paints a dark, conspiratorial picture of the world, bristling with debunked theories, misleading claims, and outright falsehoods. Well, I know he's been talking about how maybe the jab made people less healthy. Right now, my sister's got on all of her boosters because she believes everything. You know, she's the perfect little U.S. slave. She goes to church on Easter and Christmas and believes everything the authorities tell her all year round. But she's part of this flu outbreak this summer, man. She's just been super sick with the latest round of COVID, and I'm just thinking, oh, I'm how healthy as everything. I never got a single one of those Pfizer pokes or any of those brand pokes, and I never was gonna. And I warned a lot of people about it. I mean, like, where in the world? Okay, here's a real statement. So where would it be logical to just fall in line? The two most sued companies in the history of the world for wrongful death and injury are Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline. They just happened to merge right before COVID and then made the most money off it. Companies that, you know, they'll settle wrongful deaths all day because they make so much money off their marketed medical schemes. Like, where's the logical part to fall in line and be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to hurry out and get the rushed out jab from them for the 99 point whatever percent survivable COVID illness. Yeah. Where can I sign up? Oh, I can get a free Burger King in New York or wherever it was if I get my jab today. Oh man, a free Burger King and a free jab from Pfizer? I mean, you got to be a fucking moron. And that's the problem with this nation. That's what I've noticed the whole time I've been an adult. Actually, scratch that. I turned an adult in 2001. When I was a child, I started to realize this was a nation of fucking morons. Just believing all the bullshit fed to them, from the religion to everything. The history, these school lessons that don't make any fucking sense. Nation of fucking morons. And the only problem I ever had on my report card is doesn't respect authority, and wasn't that a blessing from God? Who would respect this authority in the age we've been living up? It's nothing but fucking bullshit every fucking day, and a riddle and a mockery, and you gotta be a fucking moron? Oh yeah, our government, which has, you know, killed more people than anybody in the last 100 years, is saying the safest thing we can do is go sign up for the experimental jab from the greatest fucking killer corporations there ever was. Where can I sign up? Hey, I wonder why my sister's so fucking sick this summer, along with all the other moron Americans who went out and keep believing in every fucking lie and bullshit and going along with every scheme. I wonder why they're all fucking sick. Is it because they got this thing put in their body that probably really did fuck? Because again, the reason I'm even going on this rant is because that's one of the things RFK has been presenting. Doctors who say that this thing compromised people's immune systems, put something in them that could be a ticking time bomb. Is it a conspiracy theory? Sadly, it probably won't be that much longer before the day I'm talking about how my sister's cancer's all back all throughout her body and things are looking even worse. Remember, that just happened to her ex-husband who she just got divorced from. He's a doctor. They're both in the medical field, got all their jabs and boosters. You know, he's 10 years older than she is. He just turned 62. Before his 62nd birthday, he finds out he's got cancer all throughout his body, just spread like crazy. Didn't even realize it happened. I don't know. JFK or RFK Jr., he's been out. Again, I'm not mad at RFK Jr. and a lot of the information he puts out. He might put out a lot of bullshit, but the stuff I've heard about RFK Jr. over the years, and RFK Jr. has been on point about a lot of things. I just realized he's one of them. He's hope for the hopeless. But again, why isn't that addressed in the article? Can we get some real stats on the people that are all getting sick this summer? Because never in my lifetime do people get sick in the summer, but now people are just getting sick in the summer all over. Everyone at Sweet Lady's work is jabbed. They're all sick. You know, my sister, it's not as bad as her ex, though. He's got really bad cancer, and it's not looking good. And I don't know. So is it all just conspiracy theories? I mean, when do we start to say like, oh, well, maybe these theories are actually panning out, and now it's like a scientific theory. I'm going to show you what ChatGPT wrote about me. It's just so. I mean, what's the point of AI if it's just programmed by assholes? It's just like, get the fuck out of here. We'll get to that too. Wi-Fi causes cancer and leaky brain, Kennedy told podcaster Joe Rogan last month. I'd have to hear the whole context of it. I do have a feeling that all these signals are causing problems with us. Again, my ear's been ringing nonstop ever since January 2006. Gotten used to it now. It's over 17. Speaking of 17 years, over 17 years I've been having a ringing ear. But I've always wondered because the doctors couldn't figure it out. It was like a mystery. And I was just thinking, what if it's all the new signals? What if like somehow it's just like I could always, out of all, how the old school TVs with the fuzz, they could be on, but on silent in another room, but they let off a buzz, like a harmonic buzz. And a lot of people can pick up on that buzz, and some people better than others, and some people can't hear it. Like my dad could never hear it, but I could come in a house and be like, you got a TV on somewhere? Oh yeah, maybe upstairs in the back room, and then sure enough it'd be on. I'm just picking up on that buzz. So sometimes I wonder if that's also what's going on with the buzz I always hear. I don't know. There's signals everywhere now. Hasn't made my brain leaky though, as far as I know. So anyway, I mean, maybe he's saying some stuff that's bullshit, but again, if a guy's on the road talking, and again, these aren't the things RFK Jr. is really about. RFK Jr. has always really been about the environment and the destruction of the environment, and lately he's been taking the stand of, I don't know if we should be, doing what we're doing with medical policy. There looks like there could be some real consequences to these decisions for our health, for our nation. Are we sure we haven't been hijacked? I'm 1,000,000% sure we've been hijacked, but it happened a long time ago and we're just getting deep in the game. Anyway, he goes on, antidepressants are to blame for school shootings. Well, why is that angle never covered in the media? I mean, everybody's on drugs these days. I shouldn't say everybody, I'm not. A small percentage of America isn't, but the vast majority of Americans are on pharmaceutical drugs. And I just read an article recently about how 3/4 of America is either on an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety med. I mean, that blew my mind. I was like, is that true? But I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, a lot of people I know do take meds for that, especially anti-anxiety. But, yeah, that angle's never covered. So where's the? So just if you bring it up, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you bring up the angle of, well, from what I've looked into, a lot of these shooters have been on a heavy cocktail of drugs. I mean, there are people who've pointed those things out, so they're just all conspiracy theorists. We can't explore that angle. We can't explore angles that go back to Big Pharma. At least not in news reporting where we're seeing that the sponsors of these news sources are the big pharma companies. That's why it's so annoying that people are so fucking moronic. Anderson Cooper last year, or it's 2 years ago now, maybe it's time's flown, maybe it's been 3 years, but no, it's probably 2 years ago now, because it was after the jab came out. Anderson Cooper said, you're not a real man if you haven't gone out and gotten the jab because you're not a responsible adult. And then that segment went to commercial break sponsored by Pfizer. And I just thought, okay, so the guy who's like a bottom who takes it in the ass is saying, I'm not a real man because I don't want to submit to Pfizer and become their guinea pig, or any of these companies, Johnson & Johnson and all. Johnson & Johnson can't even make baby powder. You think I want a rushed out jab from a company that's been poisoning little baby asses? You're a fucking moron if you're going out and getting these jabs. That's my response. And for me having that response, I've lost a whole bunch of channels, and I was losing channels even before that. But for going against this bullshit authority, you're said to be a dangerous speaker. You're a threat to the YouTube audience. Your channel has to be taken down. We're only playing Lil Tay, the little 9-year-old gangster rapper girl who's putting out a real nice example for all the youth coming up. That's safe for YouTube. Questioning the authorities is not. R.I.P. to all the little children who died on the sports field because mom and dad made a bad decision. Anyhow, he mused during an appearance with Twitter CEO Elon Musk, another Jesuit puppet. All the Jesuit puppets stick together. Chemicals in the water supply could turn children transgender, he told right-wing Canadian psychologist and podcaster Jordan Peterson. Okay, I know somebody who, I haven't talked to him for a while, but for many years he worked in the lab at University of Washington, and his specific job in the lab was to focus on the water in the area and the raising estrogen rates in the water. And I just thought that sounded like the most boring job. Like, what can you even do all day? You come in and you get the latest sample, you're like, okay, here's the new number. But of course, you're always researching and learning more about it. So I get it now. But when you just tell me that, it's like, that's what you do? You monitor the estrogen levels in water? And he explained to me, he was the guy who explained to me, he said, because I was like, well, why are estrogen levels rising in water? He's like, well, what we think it is all the birth control in the population. It goes in the toilet, which becomes part of the water supply, which gets recycled, and it just continues to accumulate more and more. So, and hey, isn't that big pharma too? Get all the girls on birth control. All the birth control ends up in the water. More estrogen ends up in the water. Men end up with more estrogen because they're drinking the water. I guess women with even extra estrogen, so they're even extra emotional. Like, damn, I thought her period week was over, man. This seemed to be going on all month. Anyway. Is it that far off? I mean, is it a conspiracy theory? I mean, maybe that's kind of right. It seems like everybody knows that, like, this younger generation coming up, the boys want to be effeminate. They're more feminine. The girls, those girls must be getting testosterone from somewhere because they want to be more like dudes. But I think that's mostly just all the Hollywood programming. And yeah. Anyway, Jordan Peterson, Alex Jones, all the typical names. The only people who get any attention. Nobody else exists. Just flush them down the algorithm. It's only this handful of group of weirdos. Okay, but anyway, I mean, all these things, it's like, yeah, we can just call it a conspiracy theory, but can we actually get a real conversation on this? I mean, the guy I'm talking about who worked at the lab, he wasn't any kind of conspiracy theorist. He just told me that, that's what was going on. And again, this is a conversation from like 2009, 2010. That's when this is coming on my radar. I'm thinking, interesting. So if estrogen levels were rising and had been back in 2009, 2010, well, where are we at now in 2023? Have we hit a point where it's like a critical overload and that's why we see what we see? And we know who's instigating all this crap because they put the same number code on all of it. He also said AIDS may not be caused by HIV, something he has suggested multiple times. Well, I know a very credible doctor who made that argument, who also was the biggest critic of Anthony Fauci and was explaining what a criminal fraud he was and who just happened to die from pneumonia right before COVID happened. And then they started calling it COVID pneumonia. R.I.P. Kerry Mullis, who invented the PCR test and said Anthony Fauci purposefully always misused his PCR test to falsely diagnose and connect whatever needed to be connected to make the money. And then look at what happens right after his death. Anthony Fauci, the face of everything. Masks won't be helpful. Oh, actually put on a mask. Actually put on 2 masks, 3 masks. Oh, maybe no masks. Anyway, I'm getting a new job at Georgetown. And I made a lot of money off the jabs. I was well invested. There's no credible evidence for any of these assertions or for Kennedy's longest-running false claims that vaccines cause autism. Well, hey, we can't even have that conversation because Google took down everybody's video in 2012. Remember all the testimonials from parents back then that were up on YouTube about how after the second MMR shot, all of a sudden their child changed? They were no longer responsive. They seemed like they lost their language abilities. They forgot how to do this. This totally changed. This new behavior developed. All these parents got the same story, but you know what it turns out? All those parents were conspiracy theorists. And I can validate those stories from off the internet because I used to manage a children's home for autistic children. Some of the parents who were still there, who were still had contact with their children, they all had the same story. They all had the same story. Everybody's just got the same story. You know what the media's decided? Shut up. You're not real journalists. You're just dumb people with kids. Doesn't make you special. The authorities here at Pfizer said, your autism has nothing to do with any of our jabs. Anything we've been putting out could have never have been. Impossible. What'd you say? We had to stop the jab for polio because a bunch of people died? Nah, we don't talk about that anymore. But remember, Elvis got it, and then a whole bunch of people did get it, and we made a whole lot of money. That's all you need to remember. Anything else is conspiracy theory. Okay. Yet Kennedy is building a campaign for the highest office around these conspiracy theories. Isn't it funny how they do it? They got they got this Q movement that they're building up, taking all the gullible people who see something's wrong. And you know what's sad about that? The last time I got like tens of thousands of views on a video that stayed up, was when I made the joke. Because remember how all the QAnon people were saying that Biden would never take office and Trump would remain in, and you'd see it's Q, we know, we got CIA intel. And then I made the joke video about how Q was right and Joe Biden's just Donald Trump in a Joe Biden bodysuit. It was a joke video. But that video, sadly, I mean, that was what, the January of 2021? It's like, God, we have not gotten any views anywhere since that. The algorithm is just, ugh. Anyway, come back. Yet Kennedy is building a campaign for the highest office around these conspiracy theories and the idea that fact-checking or criticizing them amounts to censorship. Okay. Is that all that's going on? I didn't realize that that's all that was going on. I thought my videos were getting deleted left and right and my channels were getting taken down. That is censorship. That is censorship, especially when the fucking platform's called YouTube and you're allowed to put out what you think out there. That's how it used to be. That's why I hate this fucking shit, how disingenuous it is. Oh my God. There's not enough bullets. His through line in the bedrock conspiratorial premise that they, and that's where he takes you, they. That is where he takes you, they. He doesn't take it past they. Can't take it back to his controllers who are the same they. Then it'll be more than just his ex-wife who was found hung. God, you know what's sick about his ex-wife? I didn't even realize that RFK Jr.'s ex-wife had hung herself. That happened a while back. It happened over a decade ago. But I saw it right away just listening to the news broadcast from back then. They met, every news source mentioned how they were married for 16 years, just got divorced, and then she hung herself. 16 years? She died on the 136th day of the year, the 16th triangular number. What order was started in the 16th century? That's right, the Jesuits. His through line is the bedrock of conspiratorial premise that they, the government, pharmaceutical companies, the media, see, notice how what my work does is bring it together of who controls all those things and how obvious it is. And that's how it's done. By a code, by a system that goes back to this order from this time period, are lying to you, but that he is telling the truth. Well, I know that RFK Jr. is telling way more truth than the mainstream media. Is he putting out some bullshit too to keep the Q people in? Possibly. That could be a political strategy. Can't lose the Q segment. That's a lot of brainwashed sheeple. This is what happens when you censor somebody for 18 years. I like that, because remember how censorship equals Jesuit order and their acronym IHS is 18? Kennedy told a cheering crowd at his April campaign kickoff in Boston. Be careful in April. Lincoln got it then. And we know that, again, he did it on the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola becoming the first superior general. They shouldn't have shut me up that long, because now I'm really going to let loose on them for the next 18 months. Oh, a double 18 in there he got. Sure, it's just another coincidence. It's an apparent bet that the political, cultural, and media dynamics that elevated Kennedy and the anti-vaccination movement during the COVID-19 pandemic can similarly propel him to the White House. Well, if him and Trump hook up, not out of the question. They make it to the finish line. See where they're taking this one. Could be some event where they're all assassinated and Michelle Obama just steps in as the new president. Barack the first man. Okay. Yeah, just to go back over, this is what we were talking about all day, this post, some other stories. And you remember the little Canadian rapper who was dead yesterday? 2 Canadian artists dead, right? The band Robertson from Canada dead, Lil Tay reported dead, the little Canadian gangsta rapper girl. But I was saying, isn't that weird that her birthday is JFK's birthday, May 29th? Anyway, and then the JFK tribute assassination happens in Ecuador. Anyhow, yesterday, special counsel investigation got search warrant for Donald Trump's Twitter account. And again, day leaving 144 days left in the year. Jesuit Order 144. Trump unbanned by Elon Musk 144 days after Elon Musk's birthday. After Elon Musk tried to buy Twitter on 14/4, the anniversary of Lincoln's assassination, 144. JFK dead 144 days from the Pope. Bobby Kennedy dead at 1:44 in the morning. Bobby Kennedy Jr. or RFK Jr. in the election. Officially, papers filed 144 days after the Superior General's birthday. Again, President Biden 144. It's his legal team going after Trump. On this day, the man trying to kill Biden is arrested by the FBI in Utah. And you know, the thing about Utah is it has that Gematria 58, like the huge 58 ritual they just had in Montgomery the day after Trump was in Montgomery, who won the 58th U.S. presidential election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower, because that number goes with the secret societies and other important history. But, yeah, again, just to talk about this all day, the assassinations and how all these storylines are coming together. And again, the Jesuit simulation, June 12, 2020, 144 days before the election, about how Biden would beat Trump in 2020. And Trump would refuse to step down and lead to deadly violence, just where all these things keep coming back together. Politics, violence, death, killing, a code. And don't forget, the United States of America is 144. Everything I said at the beginning of the stream, you know, a thing that divided us on August 9th, that was used to divide us, the killing of Michael Brown, the Black Lives Matter protest, the burning of cities. Yesterday with Maui burning too, because again, the first act of weather warfare admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday, for that to happen on that same day, the Ignatius Loyola thing that he would sign off on his letters, go forth and set the world on fire, whatever the official words are for that phrase, also equals 144. Go forth and set the world on fire. The official words, however that exactly is 144. We've talked about that in the past. So, I mean, you just think about that too. With all this stuff yesterday, Russia, Ukraine, another big Jesuit ritual going on, but just Maui, a place that's considered beautiful. Heaven on earth. Looks like hell on earth, right? But all these things we've been talking about forever. The code. The Jesuits, a military order. The military. Since August 15th, 1952, it's been admitted an act of weather warfare. The military performing it. That was the Royal Air Force of the UK. The Jesuits have been there longer than the US has existed. But okay, again, JFK killed in 63. We talked about the Ecuadorian assassination. He was born in 63 and dead 63 days before his upcoming birthday. RFK born November 20th, 1925. Joe Biden born November 20th, 1942, 17 years later. Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. Number 17 of the Celtics died the day he was announced he was running for president. 17 days after his birthday, John Havlicek. Again, NBA, it's the 17 league. NBA equals 17. But remember, Joe Biden, the Uvalde shooting on the 144th day of the year, the day he gave a speech about it was the day of Game 1 of the NBA Finals that they lost. The Celtics lost the finals to the Warriors eventually, but they won Game 1 on a 17-point comeback only to stay on 17 championships. And then remember, shortly after those NBA Finals, Bill Russell, who was Jesuit educated at University of San Francisco where the Warriors are and who played for the Celtics, he dropped dead on July 31st, the last day of the Jesuit Ignatian year. 31's the 11th prime. He'd won 11 championships in his time in the NBA. 11, the master number. But Joe Biden, Celtic, Joe Biden's speech about Uvalde, where he kept saying 17 over and over and over again. At the time of, I made several videos about it. RFK, Biden. RFK gave a speech about gun control 10 days before his assassination. Lincoln had a dream about being shot on April 4th, only to be shot 10 days later. Bob Dylan, his 17-minute song about the JFK assassination called Murder Most Foul, which equals 79 like murder. You know, I was just about how the Dead Kennedys drummer, how his birthday was 7-9, right? 7-9. Murder, Society of Jesus. I didn't even, or there it is. Society of Jesus is 56 and 79, and he put out the song on 26/3, where 263 is the 56 prime. Again, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. only met one time in history. They met on that day, March 26. That's Nancy Pelosi's birthday. Her name's 56. Easy E died in a big Jesuit ritual on that day. Kobe Bryant, the first shoe put out after his death in the big Jesuit ritual, was put out on that day. But Society of Jesus, 5679, 26/3 is like 263, the 56 prime. Lincoln, 79 like Dylan. Let's not forget where Obama fits in with this too. Obama won the 56th presidential election. Barack Obama equals 68. He becomes number 44. MLK killed on 4-4 and 68. Malcolm X killed on a 44 date numerology. Joe Biden equals 44. Just these deaths right after Obama's birthday. The guy who portrayed Simba when Obama joked that he was Simba, born in Africa, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Again, Simba equals 44. But that man just died at age 47, the day after Obama's birthday, who took the White House at age 47. And then if there's rumors now that this Lil Tay girl faked her death, but we know if that's true, she didn't. That family's not doing it on their own thing coincidentally. It's because they're doing what they're being told to do. And if it's a fake death, that might be a clue to what's going on with a lot of these other rappers. Because, again, people are just going on what they're told from the authorities. At the end of the day, they don't know what's true, what to believe. You should just assume that if it's in the media, it's probably meant to play with your head, and it might be a load of bullshit. But understand who's also doing it. So also, Lincoln and Dylan are 79. Bob Dylan, Lincoln's, all this goes back to Lincoln. 59 is the 17th prime number. Kill equals 17 and 59. John F. Kennedy, 59. Biden won the 59th presidential election. Pope Francis equals 59. Again, he won it 46 weeks after Pope Francis' birthday to become number 46. Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Pope Francis. And from March 26th, the day that the song came out, song released on March 26th, from that day to Dylan's upcoming birthday was 59 days, 17th prime. 8 weeks and 3 days. We won't even talk about that. 8-3. 307 days after Dylan's last birthday, the 63rd prime. Now here we are again. This guy dead at age 63. Or no, born in 63, dead 63 days before his birthday. And Murder Most Fouls 178 like Kabbalah. Remember that girl Lil Tay, her birthday's May 29th, and what was it, Claire Hope, her birth name is 178. Her birth name, Claire Hope's also 56, like Obama, who ran on Hope, who won the 56th presidential election. But her big hit song, the way it's written, Lil Tay, Money Way, 178. So again, just talking about all the same stuff and how this all comes back to Kabbalah, where this code of letters and numbers is from, playing this game. What is the truth and where did it go? Ask Oswald and Ruby. They ought to know. These are the Bob Dylan lyrics. Shut your mouth, said a wise old owl. Business is business and it's murder most foul. And then he talks about how he's seen the Zapruder film 33 times. Kennedy Federal Masonry Secrecy Order. Dealey Plaza named after a Mason. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things in these lyrics. So. But yeah, doesn't it come together so perfect? And then, again, on the day of all this, Bob Dylan's bandmate's dead. Robbie Robertson, as the supposed would-be killer of Joe Biden, is Craig Robertson in Mormon land, Utah. And Mormonism was started by the Freemason. Joseph Smith, who died 33 years before Brigham Young, who brought the Mormons to Utah, made them flourish there. And Joseph Smith died in a huge 44 ritual, by the way. I know I covered that one in my first book along with Brigham Young. And then when Biden spoke about Uvalde, in Uvalde, he did it at the Catholic Church on JFK's birthday. JFK, who was killed in Texas. This is what we've been saying the whole time, how all this stuff connects. Uvalde on the 144th day of the year. JFK killed in Texas, 144 days from the Pope. the Biden, I mean, we've been talking about all this just the whole time and how it just keeps building. We're building to a climax. Again, and then just QAnon, you know, people that believe, that's what's hilarious. It's like, okay, so you see something's wrong with your government, but you still believe in your government so much you believe that there's these white hats behind the scene pulling all the strings, you know? And now QAnon gets mad. They're like, we're not QAnon, we're just Q. Okay. Don't forget, in Jewish gematria, QAnon equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like how the first Jesuit pope's the first living suite, 201 at the Vatican, like how 201 days after MLK's assassination was the first major gun control legislation, like how Joe Biden sacrificed his wife and daughter in a 201 ritual after he became senator, and Beau Biden died 201 days before the Pope's birthday at age 46, when Inauguration Day is the 201st day of the nation's age, 20/1, the 20th of January. And the Jesuit priest Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan with the 201 name did the funeral for Beau Biden and the inauguration for Joe Biden. Dead at 46, number 46, Catholic 46, 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament, Genesis 46 is a sacrifice. The Holy Bible equals 201 like the Jesuit order. Oh man, you can't see it? Anonymous is associated with Guy Fawkes, the Jesuit. Remember the 5th of November, the date of the upcoming election in 2024, 144 days after Donald Trump's birthday. You don't see where this is all going with the Kennedys and the QAnon theory and how it's all leading up into this election? You got to be blind. You got to be the most hardcore coincidence theorist there ever was. And now that I know that they're putting out the Kobe Bryant statue in a big Jesuit ritual confirming everything I said, and it's over, well, it's a little, I guess it's, again, you guys, we mark the date, LA. I will not miss it. I will be there the day they put up the Kobe Bryant statue, and I'll be there before then too. But August 8th, 2024, you got a year to plan. Let's get 1 million people at the Kobe Bryant unveiling and talk about what his death was really about and how big of a Jesuit ritual was that was way bigger, that went way beyond just Kobe Bryant. Let's be giving out 1 million free books because we got that much funding. Let's make California kick Gavin Newsom out on his ass that very day. August 8th, 2024. I'm marking the X for that date to change the world. We should be able to do it, you guys. We got this so figured out, but I'm thinking, God, I got to get out this Kobe book ASAP and this little short book on what they're doing with the election. If I just wrote a book and put everything more clearly than what I just said about all this 144 in this election and where all this shit's going, I think it would snap a lot of people out of it. Especially the day that it hits and I'm pulling out the book and saying, what I tell you about 144? Look at what they fucking did, you guys. Look at what they did. Here we are. Do we have to go back to Shinzo Abe last year? You guys remember that one? The tribute to Abe Lincoln, Shinzo Abe. Spelled just like Abe. July 8th, Jesuit 78. Hold on. Let's go back because we're coming up, or I should say we just passed the anniversary of that. The Lincoln lawyer came out 56 days before the Shinzo Abe assassination. Again, Lincoln assassinated at age 56. The nonstop jokes. Oh yeah, in the West, it was still July 7th, a year to the day of the Haiti assassination. So it was still July 7th in the West, the 177th day of the year, like the Jesuit order, which is also fair. They use that, just putting a the in front of it. It goes from 144 to 177. The is 33. July 8th, 78, Jesuit. The assassin was Tetsuya, 78. Parallels with Kennedy, 78. Kennedy was shot in Dealey Plaza, which equals 189. Abe was shot on the 189th day of the year. And again, you have the Lincoln 144 parallel with the Kennedys, with what happened. Again, Shinzo Abe, you guys, 144. A year to the day earlier, it was Jovenel Moise of Haiti, 144. See, I mean, I'm documenting right there. President Biden, we're talking about the same stuff over and over. Abe dead 75 days before his birthday. You know what else? Somebody get this video to Martin Lawrence. I'm a little bit worried about Martin Lawrence, you guys. Did you see that they're moving the 75th Emmys to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday? It was supposed to be in September of this year, but they're removing it all the way to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The 75th Emmys, Martin 75, right? All the number rituals they've already done with Martin Lawrence. I had to look at how old Martin Lawrence is, and here's why I'm concerned. You know how old Martin Lawrence is going to turn next year in 2024? Again, 24 is the reflection of 42. We know that they use both those numbers in racial stuff all the time. Martin also equals 42, and he lived in apartment 42 on the 42nd parallel in Detroit. But Martin's going to turn 59 years old next year. And we've seen that number a lot of fateful times with black Americans. Again, Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Motown came out in Detroit in 59, because again, Martin's connected to Detroit, right? Slave 59, Negro 59, Blues 59, Rasta 59. The list goes on. So I see that. Martin, Luther King Jr. Day, entertainment industry. We know how, again, there's death rituals for these award ceremonies in the build-up to, the day of usually, sometimes shortly after. If I'm Martin Lawrence, I'm being careful about who I'm associating with and the time of the 75th Emmys. Because aren't Emmys, I'm not even, since I'm not the biggest entertainment guy, aren't Emmys for TV? Isn't that what the Emmys are for? Because Martin was a TV show. Emmys are an extensive range of awards for artistic and technical merit for the American and international television industry. Yeah, sorry, I see the 75 and it just, I wanted to, I'll probably do a shorter video on the Martin thing. But yeah, I mean, isn't it so perfect? And maybe something I'm doing a lot lately, I mean to get everything on my website, but a lot of times I'm doing a Twitter post and forgetting to get back to my website and do a post there. But I know that there was something in the news this year on April 14th, or it could have been April 15th. One's the anniversary of Lincoln getting shot, the other's the anniversary of him dying. But they had something up about Shinzo Abe, and I was just like, are they serious, man? Is it that big of a fucking joke they got to do every day because they know nobody's paying attention or no one even recognizes the pattern because they forgot what day Lincoln died? That's right. It's like the news media is a test. And you know what? In fact, if you look at CNN all the time now on their front page will have a quiz about how well do you know the news. And it's like, okay, let's get another layer question. Did you know the anniversary date of this is why CNN put out this story? Oh yeah, he had a ghost gun too. He had a handmade gun. Those are ghost guns. And remember how we just got the ghost gun ban in the Jesuit ritual on the same day DJ Casper died in Chicago. DJ Casper, Chicago associated with gun violence. Supreme Court, new laws to ban ghost guns as DJ Casper from Chicago's dead. You don't think there's a big sick conspiracy where people are pulling strings in the federal government and the entertainment world, mocking our asses every day? Something that I noticed that actually makes me a little bit annoyed. My channel's been deleted like 20 times in the time he's been trying to build his channel, but they're not letting this channel grow at all. The guy who came from Hollywood who does my work but makes it look really dumb and always tells everybody in every video that there's no conspiracies, no one's mocking you, it's all of this gematria is just the way the world works, it's just all organic. It's just like, oh my God. From Hollywood, of course, covering up from all his cousins. But and he looks like a little Italian gangster. But I noticed that guy's channel is bigger than mine right now, and I'm like, okay, my channel's been deleted like 15 times. That's why it's bigger. It won't always. But it bothers me. I'm like, geez, this guy is getting this guy. Oh my God, this is horrible. The Hollywood fraud, who also tells you to look in the mirror and look at your little beady eyes and be the best devil you can be. It's like, what the fuck kind of what are you even talking about? Oh my God. Yeah, I always worried that someday that could happen. That the most popular Gematria channel will be some guy that just makes it look totally fucking retarded and inverts it all. It's like what happens to everything in this world, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to leave out the Pearl Harbor thing, but it is also part of it. Both in the time of Sagittarius, which is 144, and same numbers, and we know it was the same Jesuits. I guess, Pearl Harbor, I guess maybe I shouldn't leave it out because Pearl Harbor is Japan, right? They're paying tribute to history and all these things. But yeah, Shinzo Abe, 144. Lincoln shot on 14-4. And the year before that, we were talking about the Haiti assassination in 144 and the history of assassinations in 144. Then a year to the day later, we're talking about the same thing. And now we're on the day leaving 144 days left in the year, and we're talking about the same thing. After in Ecuador, whose birthday is the 144th day of the year. It's just... And look at how the front page was that day. Japan Shinzo Abe assassinated. Right next to that, Biden, right? Oh, man. It's the script is unfolding. You just didn't realize... It was no different this nightly news, this daily news than your favorite sitcom. So, who is the Hollywood guy? His channel is Decode Your Reality. His name is Logan. Wildfire has the same gematria as Maui, Hawaii. And yes, so wildfire equals 50, Maui, Hawaii 50, Hawaii the 50th state. Yeah, all very true. And again, just the Jesuit history of weather warfare. Kennedy gave the first speech about weather control in 1961, but about how it could be a good thing. But all things dualistic. So thank you, congrats to the winners. Thank you, Eloy Garcia. Raised $2.98 on the stream. And I appreciate it. We're a half gallon further down the road. So anyhow, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And please do share this video. If you guys know where the QAnon people are, get this video in front of them. Get the Q people to have a conversation about this. There's a lot of those people. If we get those people on the right path, seeing what's really going on, stop believing so much in nonsense and false heroes propped up for us, start realizing that we need to work together, organize, speak out, and look informed and intelligent and correct. Again, that's what I'm demonstrating over here every day. How to look informed and correct and prove your points every single fucking day. If that's what you want to do, rather than look like a jackass, like what Q makes you look like. But again, see, there's a reason they gave us the joke. I'm showing you how it all comes together. How all this stuff's fitting together. Q the 17th letter. All these 17s. RFK in it. Anyway. This video should be good enough to help a lot of people get the message out there. So, yeah, Golf of Tonka, another big ritual. Rituals all day. All right, True Seeker, we'll leave it there. Back to writing. I got to finish this book, and then I got to finish another book about the election. And who knows, maybe the short books, maybe they catch fire and they sell, and then I got the resources to do what I want to do for the next year. Because like I said, you guys, what I really want to do for the upcoming year is be at all these major rallies nonstop, at least one major event a month, hopefully more than that, and trying to wake people up. Wake up these Trump crowds, these RFK Jr. crowds, Joe Biden crowds. We're going to go where the crowds are, where the big events are, try to get in front of the news, interrupt some more news broadcasts. We're getting closer. In LA, I got that one news guy to at least put the camera on me and film me and listen. And then at the end, he goes, well, I think the one thing that you don't got right is that it goes back past the Roman Catholic Church. And I said, I don't disagree with that. I said, hey, let's turn the camera back on. Let's talk about it more, how it goes from the Roman Catholic Church back to Babylon. He goes, yeah, to Babylon. That's what I would have said. And I said, okay. Of course, that never went on the news, but if you were there in LA, we saw the cameraman, we said, hey, put us on the news and listen to what we're talking about. They'd heard some stuff because they were standing around, and then they actually did, but then I not like I ever thought they were actually going to put that on the news. Again, they don't get to choose what goes on the news. They're putting out the planned message that they have each day, not what contradicts it. I'll be the last thing that's ever on the nightly news unless it's a scene like from V for Vendetta where we took over the news station and put in the tape. But yeah, again, thank you everyone who hits the like and the share. Hopefully these little books that I'm excited about, they raise some money. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them more expensive on the pay-for sites that people use. Not real expensive, but I am going to have a bunch printed, and I'm going to make them inexpensive to ship in boxes to people who are interested in having a get-together in their community, promoting an event on Free to Find Truth, handing out the books, sharing the knowledge in their community. I'm seeing more people start to do it. To date, there's been probably, since I started really pounding pavement, I mean, there hasn't been people who've done it for a long time, but we've seen probably at least 15 different people upload a video to social media about out pounding pavement, about Gematria, an event, Kobe, sports thing, politic thing. What we need to do is get that number to catapult up to, like, I know Kayla's going to start doing it soon. Shout out to Kayla Decode Talker. She's got her megaphone and everything. She's getting ready. She's getting ready for the next phase of street speaking. And sometime Kayla and I will relink up, and I look forward to that day. Hopefully sooner than later. But I'm thinking if this little book, if I can generate some revenue off it, and again, it's a big if, because at the end of the day, I got to use like these self-publishing avenues, and you just don't know. But anyway, if we can generate some revenue since it's gone way down, I still do really want to do that. It's going to be hard because funds are way down. The financial support's getting cut way off. And like, even though the number has been cut in half, it's worse than that because who knows why. It's like it's a drought over here. So anyway, thank you to the people who do support. But I got to figure out a way to get the resources back up so I can fulfill the vision that I have of getting people to come out to these rallies, big numbers, turn a lot of heads, and help end the game. I do think we can win the game regardless. It doesn't look good, but I think the miracle's on the horizon. So anyway, we'll keep pushing, and again, feel free to leave a comment too. It always helps the algorithm after the video post. You go down that comment section, say thank you, or oh, this question, or this observation, or this additional find. All that stuff helps a ton. Just don't write too much without copying your comment, because there's a good chance that Google will just delete your comment. And sometimes you see that happen right in front of your eyes. You hit post, and then it posts, and then it disappears. You're like, where'd it go? Poof. Copy it for when it does that, and try posting it again. I always copy my messages before I hit paste, because I've seen too many disappear. And don't forget Google, big old Jesuit company too. We've been exposing that for a long old time. Congrats to the winners. $2 at a time. You're always asking me to do more. I do appreciate the donations, and I do it a lot. But you must have heard me say, I got to get back to writing the book. So the book's got to get done. They're more important than YouTube videos. YouTube videos aren't building the movement. They're not bringing in any new supporters. I do them as a courtesy to the people in the community who care about the work, and it makes them feel less lonely in the world. But I do want to win this, and YouTube's not helping me win it, you guys. So we need some serious funding. We need some serious people coming out when we do pound pavement, and so far it's not happening through YouTube. I need to figure out how to make a bestseller book that makes 1 million people serious about the work. That's the goal, and sadly, YouTube's not getting it done. So still keep coming back. But yeah, I can't stay on here making YouTube videos all day. Till next time.